What is gross? That comes within the range of the sensory perception. So we have how many different forms of substance? Say, earth is solid. Water is fluid. Air is gaseous. These are the three different forms of substance. All of them are gross. In spite of the fact that earth is solid and water is fluid and air is gaseous, all of them can be seen by the senses. And what is subtle, which cannot be seen by the senses, which are inside the gross, so to say. So you can say our mind is subtle, our intelligence is subtle, our ego is still subtler. Susukshmam. So the Panchabhutas are together gross. What is inside the Panchabhutas? Our body itself is a combination, a conjunction of Panchabhutas. Earth, water, air, fire and space. Now inside the Panchabhutic body, the mind and intelligence are present and are working. So thoughts are produced inside the mind, by the mind. Reasoning is evolved by the intelligence. So everything is from here, from here, from here. That is the Susukshma region. Will you ever deny that you have a mind? Is there anybody who will say that I have no mind? Are you not able to sense your mind? When a thought arises, who shows the thought? Who tells you that there is a thought? It is not the sensory organs, but nevertheless you know. So we have got an inner perceiving capacity associated with us to understand the subtle. And the most subtle is the mind, is the intelligence, is the ego. And still more subtle is the self. In fact, mind, intelligence and ego are expressions of the self. Susukshmam tadavyayam. That inexhaustible, interminable, that is the source. Yat bhutayonim paripashyanti dhiraha. The wise people given to introspection, who pursue the introspection as a nishtha, with discipline, with a lot of religious fervor, they pursue this introspection. Many people are given to puja. Many people are given to walking, circumambulating in the temple, making pudding and other things for offering to the Lord. These people do nothing like that. They simply close their eyes, sit, contemplate, read the scriptures, go to their Guru, speak to him, listen to him, discuss whenever they want, raise their doubts, get clarification, and still remaining silent. A boy from Palghat, who is otherwise in Bangalore, studying for postgraduate course in physiotherapy, he has come to the ashram. He was told that Swamiji is very busy today, he has recording, he may not be able to talk to you. He said, no, I don't want to talk to Swamiji. I only want to sit by his side. I was in my office in that octagonal room and he was outside. So Ma Gurupriya of the ashram, Mataji here, she noticed. So she said, why are you sitting? Go and sit near Swamiji, no matter whether he is working. You need not talk, he will also not talk, go and sit. So he came and sat near me. I asked him, what do you want? Swamiji, I simply want to sit by your side. I said, close your eyes and sit. This is the best proximity. Tad avyayam yad bhutayonim paripashyanti dhiraha. The wise people, they see. How do they see? They don't see with the eyes. They don't employ any of the sensory organs. They employ, if at all, their intelligence and mind, and that too what for? To make them recede, and ultimately be still and poised in their own inner absorption. This is from Mundaka Upanishad. Angiras is the exponent. Shaunaka, the great householder, is the seeker. As I told you earlier, Angiras was telling him, all the Vedas, including the 6 Shastras, all of them constitute Apara Vidya, inferior knowledge. The Para Vidya is one, the superior knowledge is that by virtue of which you know the imperishable source of the whole creation, and he describes the imperishable source. Yattadadreshyam agrahyam agotrama varnam achakshushrohotram tadapanipadam nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam tadavyayam yad bhutayonim paripashyanti dhira. We have a most authoritative and full explanation, a pronouncement in Mandukya Upanishad. It is the 7th mantra. Na andaf prajnam na behif prajnam no bhayataf prajnam na prajnanaghanam na prajnam na prajnam adrushtam avyavaharyam agrahyam alakshanam ajintyam avyapadeshyam eka atma pratyasaram prapanchopashamam shantam shivamadvaitam chaturtham manyante sa atma savijñeyaha. Why am I saying this? There is a purpose. We are now discussing how the scriptures are revealing it through the principle of negation. Through the principle of negation. You should go on negating until at last you have nothing more to negate. At that point you have reached the source. See how they are negating it. Namdaf prajnam. It is not inner consciousness. It is not inner consciousness. Our inner consciousness is considered to be Antakarana. The Antakarana consists of what? Mind, intelligence and ego. And all the 3 have their respective functions. So it is not inner consciousness. Na behif prajnam. It is not outer consciousness. What is outer consciousness? When the senses are active and the external universe is revealed in the form of Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Rupa and Gandha, then it is called outer consciousness. It is not that. No bhayadaf prajnam. It is not a combination of these 2, partly inner and partly outer. Na prajnanaghanam. The outer consciousness is when you are wakeful. Inner consciousness also during wakefulness. We have another state called deep sleep, Sushupti, where prajnanaghanam. We are asleep, densely asleep. The consciousness is densely there. Sleep have overpowered and engulfed the whole body, all the cells in the body. You cannot say we have died. We were conscious. That is why after waking up we can say, I slept. So that kind of a prajnanaghana is not that. Na prajnam, na prajnam. It is not simple consciousness. What is simple consciousness? You sit and then by pranayama or by other means suddenly block your thought. No, it's not that. Na prajnam. It is not falling into unconsciousness also. Generally in medicine, most of the patients are frequently put to unconscious situations. They are unconscious. Either sedations are given or general anesthesia is given for operation. Adrushtam, avyavaharyam, adrushtam. It is not visible. Avyavaharyam. You cannot interact with it. Agrahyam. It is not easily graspable. Alakshanam. I cannot point out any kind of a characteristic of the self by which it can be identified. All the characteristics are in the sensory sphere, not in the suprasensory level. Alakshanam, ajintyam. It cannot be thought out, conceived by the mind. Avyapadeshyam. I cannot give you an instruction by virtue of which it can be conveyed. Ekatma pratyayasaram. Up to now, it's all negations. Now you will find it's an assertion. What is that assertion? Ekatma pratyayasaram. Pratyaya means idea or thought. Ekatma pratyaya means there is only one word indicating that I. Aham pratyaya gocharaha. Atma is that which is denoted or indicated by the term aham, I. Sara, it is the essence, the truth, the idea conveyed by I. Whatever you denote by the term I, it is that. That is a clear assertion, not a negation. Ekatma pratyasaram. And what is its effect or benefit? Prapanchopashamam. The entire worldliness will be completely redressed by it. When you close your eyes and the whole thought process comes to a cessation, the intelligence also keeps quiet and you don't droop into sleep like this. When you remain absorbed. It is not an absorption where you are forgetful or unconscious. There is no distraction to the mind, no deflection, no swinging, no swerving, nothing. There is a state of abundant radiance, a radiant fullness. Prapanchopashamam, no misery, no question, no conflict, no inquiry, no oscillation, nothing. Shantam. It is extremely peaceful. Shivam Advaitam, very auspicious. You feel so auspicious and nice about it that you don't look to either a heaven or a Devendra Loka. Nothing. It makes you full, and all yearnings and aspirations and ambitions and cravings, all of them come to set there. Advaitam. You are not perceiving anything like two. Not only that, the distinction between the subject and the object, like I, my thought, I, my doubt, I am wakeful. No. It is something indescribable that you feel. There is no search. There is no yearning. There is no disturbance. There is no bondage. There is no craving for freedom. Manyante sa atma savijneyaha. This is the one Atma. It is considered like this. Saha vijneyaha. That is the one to be known. To be known. So is it only negation? No. It is assertion also. It is negation in so far as sensations are concerned. Sensory activity is concerned. Sensory abilities are involved. It is negation so far as mind efforts and mind assessments are concerned. It is equally negation of intellectual abilities and assertions also. But there is something aham. The content, that which is denoted by ekatma pratyasaram, it is actually a principle or a comprehension indicated by the term I. Na andaf prajnam, na behif prajnam, no bhayata prajnam, na prajnanaghanam, na prajnam, na prajnam, adrushtam avyavaharyam, agrahyam, alakshanam, achindyam, avyapadeshyam, eka atma pratyasaram, prapanchopashamam, shantam shivam advaitam, chaturtham manyante, sahatma savijneyaha. What more do you want? What more do you want? What does it mean? Find out the source of all your thoughts, emotions, knowledge, doubt, and things like that. The very source. If you have a fear, the fear springs from somewhere. If there is a doubt, the doubt arises from somewhere. If there is a thought, like a river flows from somewhere, and that from where it flows, it is not a river, it is a mountain. It is a mountain. So it is something different. It is, if at all, the pre-thought and the post-thought, what shall I say, factor. From where thoughts are arising. And after the thought subsides, what prevails? It is that. It is a state of beautiful and brilliant sentience. Do not always think that thoughts are there, only their knowledge is there. When thoughts are there, you have knowledge about the objects. I sometimes wonder, I am speaking, I am explaining it also well, I know. But are you, the viewers, catching what I say? This I would like to know. Spiritual knowledge takes place when thoughts cease. When thoughts cease. And what happens? The thinker and the thinking substance shine forth. You know, when you stop walking, what happens? Do the legs disappear? No. No. What is walking? Legs in a state of motion. When I ask you to stop, you stand. The legs do not disappear. Walking is actually a process, a prakriya, which the legs are performing. So walk, it is a kriya, it is a verb. Verb denotes an action. An action can originate only from an actor. So the actor, namely the legs, were moving. Now the legs are still, so they don't disappear. Walking stops. Similarly, when the thought stops, the thinker and the thinking substance, they do not become absent. They are there. In all the thinking processes, only objects are felt. They are the outcome, never the source. In a thought, emotion, memory free state, you will find the subject is felt instantly. So can you lead your mind? Mark my words. Can you lead your mind to a mind-free state? Can you make your mind think and think until it is unable to think? It stops thinking. It stops thinking. Make the mind think with a view to make it not think. That is why we are saying, when you start thinking about the Atma, thinking about the self, the necessity for thinking will stop and you will become the self. So the subject is felt when all thoughts, knowledge, memory and other things vanish. This is the stage to reach that stage. We will go to the next verse. Sattvam rajastama iti trivridegamaadav Sutram mahanaham pravadanti jivam Jnana kriyartha phalarupadayoru shakti Brahmaiva bhadi sadasaccha tayoh param yad. I am wondering, my listeners, my viewers, where are you now? What is it that your Swamiji is speaking and all of you are hearing? What is it? Nimi Chakravarti welcomed the 9 yogis, made them sit. He sat before them and he was appealing to them to explain to him the Bhagavata Dharmas. What? Bhagavata Dharmas. The devotee characteristics, the devotional characteristics. One yogi after the other began to speak. And now, Pippalayana is speaking now. And the entire subject apparently has shifted from devotion to analysis of the human personality. Description, analysis and examination of the 3 mental states. Are you able to club the 2? Similarly, every one of you will have to make this shift. It is all right to say, I depend upon God, I rely upon God. Very good, all of you rely. But the reliance belongs to your mind. The quality of the reliance will be the quality of your mind. And this reliance will have to become functional. And it should yield like Kamadhenu everything that you want. Our God cannot be a subject of mere inference. He cannot always remain at a distance. He cannot be invisible. He is penetrating all the visibles. He is penetrating your body also, mind also. such an all-penetrating presence, how long can you miss? Should you not go on crying and weeping, saying that I am unable to find you, my dear Lord? You are said to be present everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. But why is it that I am missing? What is the wrong factor in me by virtue of which I miss? These things you must feel intensely. That yearning for liberation should be there. So he is explaining one after the other. What is inside you? Inside you is the source of the whole creation. Will you accept it? Inside you is the source of the entire creation. Generally, I say the universe is an unbounded sphere. What did I say? The universe is an unbounded sphere. And the whole sphere has got only one center. Where is that center? You tell me. Generally we give an explanation. What is that? The universe is such a wonderful existence whose center is everywhere and circumference is nowhere. I would like to add, the entire universe which you experience has got its center right within your body. Your body is the shortest perimeter that you have. You can draw any extent of concentric circles, and the last of these concentric circles will enfold and comprehend and encompass the whole universe. This is what is going to happen. So he is showing to you, our body is biological, consisting of matter and energy. Our mind is not matter, not energy. It is sentience. And that sentience is not like matter, a mass. It doesn't have a limitation. Sentience by its very nature is called Chidakasha. The external sky is Dravyakasha. The internal sky that you have is Chidakasha, sentient sky. Sattvam rajastama idi trivridega sutram mahan agamidi pravadandi jivam jnana kriyartha phalarupadayoru shakti brahmaiva bhadi sadasaccha tayoh param yad. Earlier he said, Shabdobi bodhaga nishedhadaya atma moolam arthoktamaha yadrute na nishedha siddhi. Our scriptures go on saying negation, 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 but without a real substance or substratum, this negation can never be made, he says. That negation he is pointing out. Sattvam rajastamayidi trivridega. Right in the beginning of creation, what happened? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, the triple, they are called Trivrit. 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 Sattva-guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. The entire universe is made up of these. These are spiritual constituents of Prakriti. Spiritual constituents. They are not chemistry elements, not at all. They are not physical substances. Spiritual you should understand. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sattva represents light, happiness and knowledge. Rajas represents activity and its causes and motivations. And Tamas represents ignorance, delusion and sleep, idleness. Now these are the properties, one counter to the other you can say. All the three together constitute Prakriti by the name Trivrit. Egamadav. Only this Trivrit was there earlier, nothing else. Sutram mahan ahamidi pravadanti jivam. Sutram mahan ahamidi pravadanti jivam. This factor, this aggregate of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, that aggregate is spoken of as Sutra Mahan Ahamidi Pravadanti Jivam. It is considered and said to be Sutra. Sutra means what? It is the Kriya Shakti. See, the ultimate truth, Brahman or the Paramatma, It has got a twofold power or expression. One is called jnana. I would like to describe it as jnana bhava. Another is called kriya, activity. It is called a shakti, like energy.